guys, don't be too afraid, but also don't overdo it. Nobody's going to pay $30 for a boat full of charcuterie. Make it make sense.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's why we went with the $15 price point. Number one, I did that. I really goaled for it and set up the cost sheet, knowing that that's what I was goaling for.
Welcome to the Charcuterie Launch Lab podcast, where passion meets profit. If you've ever dreamed of turning your love for charcuterie, or food of any kind, into a thriving online business, well then you're in the right place. We're Andrea and Patty, the Grazing Biz Sisters. With over 60 years combined experience as a chef and digital marketer, we have walked in your shoes starting our own online businesses. We'll share all of our tips, advice, struggles, and best strategies to help you launch and grow your own online foodie business with ease. The Charcuterie Launch Lab is a space for all food creators and entrepreneurs just like you. Let's dive in and get your yummy business launched online, one board at a time.
Hey, welcome back. It's the Charcuterie Girls. It's the Charcuterie Launch Lab podcast, or the Charcuterie Grazing Biz Sisters.
Grazing Biz.
Back.
We have a bunch of names.
I know. Well, just call us whatever you need to just to get through.
as long as it's a good name.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The Greasy Salami Girls. I was actually working.
Ew.
I'm working.
All right.
I'm working on our t-shirts for our upcoming gig, and I want to do different sayings on the front. So, and you haven't seen this yet because I was just doing it this morning. But some of I'll just tell you what they were, what I was working on, because it was making me laugh. Of course, I went to ChatGPT, which if you're going to do something like this, that's where you should go because it's a great place to get ideas. But so the front of the shirts, well, I need to run these by you, but these are the ones I have so far that will have different sayings. Both you and I will. One says cheese the day. And then one says cutting cheese like a boss, which made me laugh so stinking hard. I'm going to wear that one.
Oh my God. You're going to wear that one. That's not for me.
This is how we brie it.
I do like that one. I like that one. I'll do that.
You'll do that. I figured we'd each have 2 or 3 shirts because we got a 3-day event in the middle of summer and it's going to be hot. But anyway, here's another one because it is a 4th of July weekend. This one's called Bored in the USA.
Oh, there you go.
And then this one says, don't be jealous. So, and then,
yeah,
that was not bad. And then the last one I have is Bored Queen, which I was going to put a little crown over the top of that one. But yeah, we'll have our logo on the shirts and stuff. But I thought it'd be I always like it when you go to those restaurants and everyone's wearing different shirts and it says something different on them. It kind of makes you giggle. So that's my plan.
It's a good talking point. As long as they don't hang around, like get your food and get out. Because we're not going to have time for you.
Well, we
don't have time to talk about how funny we are.
That's a great segue for what we are going to talk about today, because you and I have been embroiled in getting ready for a 3-day, pretty much 2.5 hours. I mean, it's about 30 hours of
2.5 days.
Yeah, 2.5 days, about 30 hours, 8 to 8, 2 days full, and then an afternoon over the 4th of July weekend. We're going to be, and if you're in the area, we're going to be in Prescott, Arizona, downtown. They're having a big art craft fair and a rodeo and a 4th of July celebration.
The world's oldest rodeo happens the 4th of July weekend every year in Prescott. Yeah. And if that gives up where I live, near
that area.
Yeah. So this is a big thing. I've never attended it. I've gone to the rodeo many times, but I've never attended, as a vendor. So we are overthinking everything at this point, but it's okay.
Because we're
going to get there.
Because
we're 35,000 people is what we're looking at. So this is our charcuterie cart that Patty's husband is working on. I've just been developing the menu. She's doing all the marketing because that's how we do things in our business. And, so we are going to town. I'm sorry, guys. That's why we haven't been podcasting. There's multiple reasons for that, but we've been we've been overwhelmed by making decisions and trying to figure this out and getting it right. So
yeah, I mean, we're doing our best to get this stuff out there, but as we're thinking about it, we just thought we want to run a lot of what we're doing by you because, for one, in our own groups and in the groups that we are guests in, at which we always try to be respectful of not going in and marketing in other people's groups, just as that's just how it is. And but we are in other groups because we're learning along with you as well on some of this stuff, even though Andrea's been doing catering and charcuterie and stuff for years. This whole cart thing's a whole nother beast.
Yeah, this is another ball of wax.
Yeah, it is. So we decided, because we have been talking about it so much and we know that it's a hot topic, that we would hit home a few more things about this. So today, one of the things that's at the top of my mind is that this week, not only am I working on a website strictly for charcuterie carts for us, I'm helping others. And by the way, we all have we have a business, in case you all didn't know. We offer services for people that want to start their charcuterie business. Well, we have websites, we have all the templates, we have all the marketing, we help you from everything from creating and pricing, as you can tell, and all of the tips and stuff that we do. So we have that on top of the fact that Andrea actually does have a charcuterie business and a catering business and a food selling business, and I have a marketing business. So, we're basically doing it all. In 115-degree heat here in Arizona. Andrew's in 100-degree heat this week. I'm in 115.
Yeah.
You can tell we're wearing. I'm wearing my tank top. We're wearing our tank tops. It's hot.
Yeah, apologize, guys. I've got my family in town, so I am talking to you from a different room in my house. That's why it looks a little strange, and I'm using my tablet. So it does look kind of good, though. I was surprised at how well the tablet did. Yeah.
Sounds working.
So anywho, I wanted to be somewhere, quiet, but that's why I look a little different today. But yes, it is going to be. We're only at 95 today, rather than 101, which we've been the last 3 days, which is unusual for Northern Arizona. So anywho, let's
segue from that, though, because we have been talking about outdoor events with the cart, and we are going to be dealing with heat. So one of the things we talked about at great length this week was making sure that we were keeping things cool. And I've seen in other groups about how are you doing that. I actually have a prop down here on the floor that I'm going to pull up in a second. But because we're in the process of building our cart here, and my husband's out in the garage. He's not here today. He's golfing, damn him. But anyway, when he comes back, he's going to finish working on the cart. And he's been working on it. And Andrew and I talked about what would be the best way to contain the cold, keep the cold going on inside these things. We personally didn't think individual little trays like I've seen in the carts to be the best thing, at least where we live. We could keep them all together. We thought it'd be a better idea. So, Andy, you want to explain a little bit about your thought process on what that looked like to you, and then I'll show them what I bought so that we're going to size it up and get it stuck into the thing, because I have it here on the floor. So. Hey, real quick, it's Patty here. If you've ever thought about turning your charcuterie skills into a legit money-making business, or if you already have a board biz that could use a serious upgrade, then you've got to check out the new short video we just dropped at grazingbiz.com. It's called Start or Grow Your Charcuterie Business in Under 30 Days, and it's packed with how to get started from our over 60 years of combined experience as a chef and marketer. We want to help you go from just for fun platters to a full-blown online business. We're talking websites, automated ordering systems, pricing calculators, and even marketing templates, and how to build your list of customers. We give you an entire business in a box that you can launch in less than 30 days. Go watch the quick video now at grazingbiz.com. If you've got the passion, we got the plan. Let's get you selling boards before the next holiday rush. Again, that's grazingbiz.com. See you there.
Okay, so I have been receiving a lot of messages about the charcuterie cart. So that's another reason why we're bringing it up again. This is our second charcuterie cart discussion. As we're designing it, so I just process it in the fact of how do you keep everything as cold as you can, especially in our weather, being over 90 degrees, and we don't have the same humidity, but it's still freaking hot.
Yeah, humidity would be bad too.
I was just concerned about, so when you have the individual, so I hope everybody understands that's listening to us. I'm not sure, but you can have individual, let me see that one. So you have this, and then you have a slightly deeper one.
Hold on, we need to explain it for the people that aren't seeing it, right? We know we're on YouTube, so if you guys want to get on YouTube, you can watch this. You might want to, because I'm also going to bring up our website in a little bit, but in the meantime, I'll do our best to describe it. So these are, what size are these?
That is a 4-inch 6 pan is what we call it in the restaurant industry. And the reason we call it, so it's 4 inches deep. The reason we call it a 6 pan is, Patty, can you hold up the other big pan, the whole thing?
Well,
So you can see that. Okay, so 6 of those little guys fit into one big one, and that's the reason why we call it a 6 pan. So the individual pan is, you can do in your charcuterie cart either the 4-inch with a 6-inch deep single pan. I hope that makes sense. So you have
I'm going to take a few of these out so they can see these. Okay.
Right. So you have a 4-inch pan. Yeah. You have a 4-inch pan, and then you have a 6-inch pan that goes underneath it, which is deeper to hold your ice or your cool. See, Patty got cooler packs with hers.
Yeah. We probably won't use these because I think these are cheap, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, but that's okay. We'll get to that. Yeah. So, anyways, or you can do those individually. We have it all put together so that we can put one big or several cooler packs in the bottom, and that they're all going to keep each other cold.
Yes.
When you have them single, which I see a lot of people do, it looks great. Either way, it looks great. But when you have them single, that single thing needs to be like, it's not going to, when they're all together like that. Yeah, when they're all together, like ours is, I feel like, this is my opinion, that they're going to stay colder because they're all holding each other together.
Hello. Yeah, that's
as far as staying cold.
Right.
And also you're saving space on your charcuterie board table. When you do the on the counterpart, because when you do the 6 pans all individually, you're taking up however many inches in between each one of those. So to me, that's my opinion. Everybody do their own thing.
And you're sticking with it
differently.
And I agree.
And I'm sticking with it. That's my opinion. I'm sticking with it because I've been around the block too many times, and I've just seen things happen. So in our neck in the woods, we want, we're not going to be in a disposition where it's cool outside. So we have to really pay attention to how we're keeping things cold and by the way, everybody, thermometers inside your coolers, inside your little containers. You need to have thermometers everywhere. Make sure everything's staying to temp, because the last thing you want to do is have the health department show up for any event, whether it's a wedding, not likely going to show up at a wedding, but you want to keep everything safe.
You don't want anybody getting sick.
Right. You want to have the thermometers. What I have are just chef thermometers. They're Insta reads. They go in my pocket. In fact, I just put one in the refrigerator. I got a new, like a little mini fridge to put some extra stuff in. I actually put one in there this morning to make sure it was holding temp correctly. So, you can multi-use those, and then you just stick them into the food, or you stick them into the ice, you stick them in wherever to make sure that all your food's holding properly.
Right.
We're going to have a bunch of those, one in each cooler, so we can drop it in there to make sure that everything's holding.
So talk about what you want to, it's on order, the freezer packs that you're getting that will be small. They'll be like 4 or 5 inches, right? So we can stack them in. Right. They're 4 by 5. Not this thing. This ain't going to last.
It's not
long.
that. What do you do with that? Is that water?
Fill it with water. I know. I just got it, so Andrew doesn't know. But I just got it. Although there is something around in there.
It'll probably work. I don't know.
There's something.
It'll probably work for a little while.
It looks like salt or something. Could that be? Anyway.
Oh, maybe something.
Why would they put salt in? There's Chinese people.
No clue.
No offense, because we love our Chinese people for making stuff like this.
Yeah.
But,
As long as the
this
tariffs aren't too high.
was kind of laughable because last night,
Yeah.
maybe it was the glass of wine I had, but I emptied the bag. I got 2 boxes of these things, and so I had 2 of them. And you haven't seen the top yet. I'm going to show you, but I take a picture. I send it back to Andrew in a video. I go, this thing sucks. Doesn't come with any. They're just sitting in here.
Nothing holding up.
There's nothing holding everything up, and I don't see. Shouldn't there be a rack or something? And she goes, yeah, there should. I go, I don't see it. Opened up one. Well, this morning I got up and I opened the other box up, and this was sitting on the top. I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense because these will sit. This runs down the center, right, to hold it.
Yeah, that's the little brace that
It's a
holds
metal
all
brace.
the pans in place.
Yeah. Anyway, that cracked me up, and I
Because
said, oh. And I go look in the
she's-
box, and it's in the corner, stuck in there. I almost threw the box out. Didn't see it.
She sends me this video, and I'm like, "What in the hell?" They're all like falling inwards. Anyways,
This
so
thing sucks.
point being, we do have a list, a catering list, and on that list is a 40. And I believe we're going to attach that list to the bottom of this.
I'll put it here in the
podcast.
show notes so everyone has a list of what we bought and
So-
how we bought it. I think I spent
Right.
well, it depends on where you get it, but yeah, you could be looking at around $100 for these things. But
For one, yeah.
for one. Now I'm gonna put them all back together because I want to show you something. Except I probably do wrong. Anyway, I think I'm going the wrong way. But I want to show you. I don't want to bang too much because I know I'm on video. We're probably going audio.
They have to go. Yeah, they have to go in a certain way.
Yeah,
They have to go in a certain way.
sideways.
Mhm.
Anyway, I've been having fun with this. Another thing I want to bring up is as we're making a cart, and if you want to make a cart, I'm videotaping him working on this thing, so we will have that as a video on our YouTube channel. But in case you want to make your own, but while he's making it, we had to make sure that we had all this purchased because we have to measure the hole at the top, right? So we're going to need 2 holes. But one of the things I've realized is that what Andrew was saying was true because the space, it takes up a lot of space. So our plan is to take these 2, we got 2, and push them off to the side, which means we have 12 of the containers, right? And then our kit came with this this should be interesting. I'm going to do this on my knee, but
Yeah, the lid.
plastic lid that if I could do it without dropping it all over the place, but I'm just in a bad position. This is probably not good. But anyway, it goes like this. See?
But you get
Like
the
that.
idea.
Yeah, the plastic lid. Just get on the YouTube and watch me because you can see what I'm doing. Anyhow, so that all came with it. So that's great. That'll keep the flies out because I know there'll be flies and things, but I hate flies. But so anyway, that's the other part about that though is my thing is when you're doing the individual little things, your countertop is exposed and it's just more things to get dirty. And we were talking about
Right.
what color to paint this thing. I've seen, or however we're going to put the countertop, we're still dealing with, waterproofing and stuff on the top, but, and what the best approach is for it. But I like the idea of having it white, but it just like, if you're going to travel with it, I feel like there's everybody's got these things that are made out of white. And I just feel like it's just extra chance of things getting dirty and messed up, and I don't know whether we're going to put contact paper on it or wood, or the more you put on it, the heavier it's going to be, and that we've already realized. Our particular one we're making will have 3 separate sides on it that are actually standing up in what do you call it? They will stand up, and then on the top they will pop in, and it'll be in the same grooves. That's what it is, grooves down at the bottom. And then we might have to we're putting extra large size wheels on it as well because I want to be able to roll through dirt and wherever, grass or whatever, if we have to do some rolling. And so I want to make sure that we're prepared for that in the event. And we're also going to have sides that are going to pop up on it. But it's just extra to clean the way I'm looking at it. This would be way easier to clean. We'll just take everything out. There won't be stuff all over the counter. I just feel like,
yeah.
And then I guess while we're on the subject, without giving all of our secrets away, we're going to use boats in this case, in this trip around. We'll show you a video of what we're going to do. It is going to be a little bit different than what, you might think, because we've got another idea to try to add value to the item without it costing us a lot of money. And then people won't come up and complain, hey, I'm not getting my 15 or whatever. We're going to charge $15, I think. And would you say 15 and then buy 2 for 20?
15 for single, or they can get 2 for 25.
Okay.
This is based, so because everybody asked this question,
Yes.
we have about a 70% markup on it. So if you figure that out, it came out to like, I don't know, $2 and something. So that included the boat. That includes the fork. We are getting little bamboo forks, so make it a little easier. Everything's going to be bite-sized, so they don't need to, cut away at everything. But when you guys see this, you'll see that, we are going to give up that information at some point so everybody can see what we're doing. But we are doing something.
We may not tell you if it's not a success. We might, if it's not successful. Well,
it might be terrible. And
you won't hear anything.
Never mind. Don't do it.
We'll tell you what.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it. I think it's going to be a massive success. And everybody that I've talked to regarding where we're going and what we're doing, obviously I had to file for permits and all that jazz. And the people are just like, oh my God, that's a great idea. So anyway, not to hype us up too much, but
I mean,
so you guys saw the whole the sixth pan is what that's called. And they're about 4 inches deep. The bottom of that, so we were getting to the fact that on our notes or whatever we've got here, you'll see below there's going to be an attachment where the links to what we're ordering will be on there.
Yeah.
So what we're ordering is a 48 pack, which is actually coming today. And so I'm sorry I don't have a picture of it, but 48 pack of gel freezer packs that are reusable. They are the commercial kind. I bought them on Amazon. And they're going to fit perfectly, like not only in our coolers versus ice packs. With the ice, you don't want the ice like melting all over your cheese and all that jazz. And you know how messy ice can be. So the gel packs will fit in between anything we need it to fit in. They're only 4 by 5. So they're going to fit in between all the different meat and cheese products and fruit products that we've got going on. And then they're also going to go very nicely in the bottom of the pan. So right. I haven't quite figured out how many we'll need in the bottom of that pan, but with 48 being ordered, Patty's bringing her RV, so we're going to be able to just keep, freezing
trading things out and throwing things in the freezer. Yeah. So that'll be the goal. Yeah, that'll be the goal. Now, I've seen some posts in some of the groups and it is 100% totally dependent on what your state and county requirements are. But in Arizona, we are required to have at this outdoor event. Now, there is a difference between outdoor event and private event, right? Inside, out, whatever. I guess public event versus private event, let's just say that. But in this case, we have to have a three compartment type sink set up, which you want to explain what that looks like, Andrea? And we also need a hand washing station, which is separate. So let's talk about that real quick.
Right. In our case, in Yavapai County, where we're going to be at, we have to have the 3 compartments. So what I did was I just went over to Dollar Tree down the street, $3 bins, which were the perfect size because the commercial ones are a little big. They're going to take up a lot of space. They just want the bins big enough for you to put your knives in or to be able to clean a cutting board. And we're going to have small cutting boards. And we'll switch them out.
Most of it.
So they're not going to be huge. Yeah. And we're not doing, we're going to be doing prepping as we go for the most part, because that's what we have to do. So in any case, the 3 bins are just,
yeah, it's okay. We'll get it. I think people will get it.
Anyways, the 3 bins, they're just like they're shirt boxes, whatever you want to call them. And they're just going to be 3 of them. One is washing, one is rinsing, and one is sanitizing.
Okay.
And your health department will tell you all this information. And then we're going to have warm water. If we can keep it warm, we're going to do it in an igloo cooler so that we can keep changing out that water as we need to. Now, on a separate station, on another table, we'll have the hand washing station, again, another igloo cooler with warm water, soap for our hands, a little bin down below to catch the water as we're washing, and then, of course, hand sanitizer, and then paper towel only.
Yeah. I just had this thought. Maybe we should come up with
use cloth.
Maybe we should come up with a way to do solar water heater up on the top of the Wouldn't that be funny?
I mean,
You could pump that
I don't
in.
know what they would say about
That'd
that, but
be funny.
they have those for camping. My husband and I used to use that for showering and washing our hands. So
yeah, we
it's
should
possible.
come up with some way to rig it up.
Again, I'm trying not to overthink everything. Let's just stick with the plan.
Yeah, we're good. We have a motorhome that's close by if we have to warm up anything. But we're not going to just put an umbrella over the situation because we have 10 by 10 space, but so we are going to be using a 10 by 10 canopy. And my thought is also because I am concerned about the sun coming in at certain angles depending on the time of day, that we will have an umbrella stand that they can come up underneath, and when they're ordering, that'll keep us shaded and the countertop shaded as much as possible. I guess worst case scenario, we don't leave everything on the front counter. I think it would be good to leave things on the front counter because people want to see what you got. But our plan is to have pre-made. So let's talk about that though, because we're not just really saying, hey, come up and pick out what you want. They're actually going to have a menu that we're offering. And then if they say, I don't want any nuts because I'm allergic to nuts, then sure, but you're still going to pay for it. You're paying for one flat rate for whatever you're getting, right? So
right
versus
because we have 35,000 people expected at this event. Of course, we're not going to feed that many, but we know that there's going to be a lot of people. And so,
how many are we planning for? Because they might be asking. I mean, what our thought process right now is?
Yeah. Right now, first of all, we revolved everything pretty much around what we could get at Costco. Because I only have a Costco up here in Northern Arizona. I don't have restaurant stores and all that kind of stuff. So most of our products are coming from there. And so with that said, we can be prepared to add to things as we go. We can send her husband out to Costco or my kids out to Costco and go get more stuff. So with that said, I'm basing it on 600 people. I am making a certain portion of it. So we're making bread to go with this. I'm making the bread because it just came out cheaper, and I can do that here in Arizona. I can make the bread ahead of time and bring it with us. And there's always a lot of organizing, and really the only way you're ever going to know how to do things, we can tell you all day long, and that's what we're here for. But at the end of the day, you absolutely must go out and just do it. You just got to go out and do it.
You have to. I mean, we're kind of going this somewhat blindly because we don't know how busy it's going to be. All we know is based on what the event organizer said to Andrea when she signed up was, "You better be ready." So
that's what she said.
You don't want to be running out if you can help it, right? And so, but you also don't want to have just an overabundance of leftovers because that would stink because you can't freeze everything we're going to be buying, right? You say can't freeze brie is what you were saying.
You can't.
But if you've already cut it up, I mean, things start to dry out, and it's just going to be tough. So
yeah.
All right, so anyway, we're getting through that. Now, I did want to talk about the fact that we are getting a canopy, and so we're talking now maybe about how we're branding that. We're in the process of getting a 8-foot banner that we want to stick on the front because we want people to see us from a distance. So our company name will be up at the top as people walk up, because putting it just on the cart in the front, which we're also getting a kind of a vinyl type banner that will be hung or stuck on there. It was sticky, right? Did the guy have a sticky version of this, or I don't know?
No, I had him just leave it. And what I thought we would Velcro it.
Okay, that's a good idea.
With Velcro stickers.
Yeah.
So I didn't have him put any holes in it.
Yeah, great. The reason we're doing that because it's lighter. I know as soon as we start putting any kind of wood, I've seen people put, just go out and buy boards and slap them on there. We don't need all that extra weight to be dragging around for two old ladies. So, I mean, the better we can make it lighter, the better. So that'll be there. But the problem is if you only use that as branding, people are standing in front of that all the time. So that's, not ideal, especially at an event like we're going to be doing. So I suppose at a private event, it doesn't matter, but at this public event, and we'll also have Andrea's other business banner on the back wall of the, so when people do come up, they'll see her other business banner she has back there. So we have, a lot of ideas, and we'll let you, we're going to give you all the good and the bad and how it all turns out. But one of the other things we were talking about this week is getting us set up so that we have payment point of sale. And our software does have that. We were having a few things getting her iPhone hooked up to it this week, but we figured all that out. So there's different ways that people can pay when they're out at the event. And your first way is going to be to have something hooked up. Now, Andrea made a comment that she was at an event not that long ago where there was no internet. The phone service was just not non-existent, right? And so what happened there? What did you do when that happened? So you got to make sure you got phone service.
Yeah, the crazy thing is this event was just a block away from the square in Prescott. And, who knew? Apparently, the organizer knew this. This was the weird thing. The organizer knew that internet or the just telephone service was questionable, but she didn't tell anybody and she didn't provide for that. So, that's not cool. But anyways, another vendor who had been at this event before knew this was a problem. She brought her Starlink, and because she did that, there were probably 40 of us, 50 of us vendors. She allowed whoever needed it to use her login info for that Starlink. Thank God, because I would have made no money if I had done that. I would have, in fact, when I first realized what was going on, I almost packed up and left because seriously, guys, you've got to have that POS. You've got to have a point of sale system when you're in person, because if you don't have it, your sales are going to be like nothing.
Right.
People just don't carry cash anymore. Now they will take Venmo. A lot of people do Venmo. So between the cards and Venmo, that's how most of my sales will happen at a craft event.
Right.
As a vendor.
So you can
make sure. And then I always have $100 worth of change to start off with as well. So I don't know if people think about that.
No,
I don't obviously deal with change like coins because that's a pain in the neck. Don't do coins. Oh my God. Just do $1. Everything is based on your dollar price point. Include your tax into your price of your thing so that you don't ever have to deal with all those change and stuff. So everything's $1, $5, $10, whatever.
Yeah, so it's easy.
That way.
Well, and that brings up a good point because I've heard people say, well, I'm going to charge you a percentage, like 3% over cost to pay for the credit card. I say build it into the price if you're going to do that.
Me too. Me too.
I mean,
there's nothing more frustrating.
I just checked
for a
3%.
customer.
You're going to be looking at probably about 3% plus maybe 15 cents, depending on the service you're using. In our case, I think it's around 2.9. It's just the way it is when you take credit cards, right? So you got to just understand that's what happens. But if you didn't take credit cards, you wouldn't be making the money that you could possibly make. Right. 45 cents is 3% on $15. So I just, plan for that. I mean, I saw in some post this morning about some lady who said that she's losing money at every event. This should never, ever happen. I mean, what?
Yeah.
We have a charcuterie calculator. If you're doing charcuterie, tap into our calculator. It's in the show notes. We're in the process of actually creating one specifically for charcuterie carts because they run a little differently, obviously, but it is kind of the same. But if you're going by pieces, you just need to know how much the pieces weigh and where you're ordering from. But that's you can still figure it out based on just having a little bit of math skills. I mean, really, it's not that hard. And never ever, if you're losing money, this is not a venture. I mean, you should do something else because
and I don't mean to poop on a competitor that was at an event I was at recently with a charcuterie cart.
Yeah, we talked.
I know what she paid. Yeah, I know what she paid to get in there. I know what she, and then I went to her. Okay, here's another thing. Make sure that your space is clean. We're going to divert a little bit. Make sure that you're keeping your space nice and organized. I walked up to her thing. She had the charcuterie cart. I actually don't remember seeing like the stations and all that stuff. I'm not sure if she did all that, the water stations, but anyways, but she had such a mess behind her of coolers and unopened packages of this and that, and everything was laying all over. And I'm like, ew. On top of that, she only charged $6 for it just wasn't even worth the $6.
Not appetizing, and no one was buying.
There's no way. You could see the look on her face when I asked her. I'm like, oh, so how are you doing? How's your sales? And she was like, nah, okay, well, that's because You
Yeah.
didn't do it right. I didn't
Yeah.
want to say that, but you didn't. And price appropriately, guys. Don't be too afraid, but also don't overdo it. Nobody's going to pay $30 for a boat full of charcuterie. Make sense, is
Right.
what I'm saying. That's
Exactly.
why we went with the $15 price point. Number one, I did that. I really goaled for it and set up the cost sheet knowing that that's what I was goaling for. That's why what we're giving, that's why I'm making the bread. That's why there's a lot of things going on that we're doing to make
A
that
little
cost
extra
happen.
work, but it'll be worth it in the
Right.
end
But
because
it'd
it's
be
cheaper
worth
to do
it.
it than
Yeah.
go buy it for one, what our plans are on some of the stuff. But um
Yeah.
and so I mean you're hitting it right on the head because one of the other things I was thinking about is, when my son got married, I had all these I don't know if you can see over here over my shoulder here, wrong shoulder over there. I had all these decorations that we got to
Oh,
put on
yeah.
the table, and I was thinking I saw somebody recently set something up where it was kind of like a kind of a garland, I guess, that I was thinking I might try to take some of that and set up kind of a
Yeah.
garland
Yeah.
thing because it looks
It
from a
looks
distance, it
nice.
looks nice, right?
Yeah.
And if you got it, you might as well, or you
Do
can
it.
do it cheap, go to the dollar store, and everything in
Again,
here is
value
like,
added.
yeah, value added, right? I mean, I'm not putting it on the tray like that, but it's going to be
No,
decoration
but
and
it's going to
people
look,
will
yeah.
be impressed. Okay,
It brings them to the table is what it does. It brings
yeah,
them when they see
what's going
something
on over
cool,
there?
and they don't even know what you're doing. It just brings them to the table and they're going to be like, "Oh my God, I didn't, then
Yeah.
that's where you start getting into conversations and you're like, "All right, get your shit and get out." But
Well,
just
and
saying.
so now that actually a lot of that, I mean, we're talking marketing now, so I'm going to kind of move into that direction
Yeah.
because the marketing of the fact that you're at an outdoor event, they should be doing marketing to get people there. But while you're there, you want to make sure that the people that are coming up to your table are aware of who you are, if they want you for an event or just love what you're doing, or they want to know where you're going and they want to show up where you're at. So our ideas are we're gonna. I just talked to Andrew about this because I'm making we're getting toothpicks or picks and to make a few little skewers, but we're going to brand the picks. And I plan right now is to get a flagged pick and then just literally just get stickers, little round stickers that will be clear with a little branding on them so that they're in the stick. Because of the way that we're serving them, there's not going to be lids on them. So we're not, because it's just more trash to people to throw out anyway. They don't need it. They should eat it. They'll probably eat it before they get 10 feet away from the table anyway. But so they'll have
Mhm.
it, but they can walk around with it. And one of the things personally, I'm not a big fan of, I know people like will just get like a flat board of some sort, but I really think on an event like this, you need to have some sort of vessel that actually has sides on it to prevent stuff from falling all over the place. And you
Mhm.
want people to be able to walk and eat, right? Not need two hands to do this. I think that's not a good idea. So, our
You
plan
want
is,
me to go get the boat?
yeah, if you want to go grab it, yeah, then we're going to put something else in there. But yeah, if you want to show them, that's fine. It's up to
Okay.
you. Okay, we're back. So Andrew just left for a second. Andrew left for a
Let's see if
second
we can
to go get the
see if we
boat.
can interrupt a few more times. Okay.
So,
You guys can tell that we don't have like a scripted thing going on, just so y'all know.
oh, this is our
Uh,
normal life. We're just sitting here
I
yakking.
know we're just making it up. So here's the boat. It's what is called a craft boat. If you're to order it, I may or may not have put it on the catering list. I can't remember, but if anybody wants it, I'll
You'll
shoot
get
it
it
out
on there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, this comes in 250, 500 pieces. It's not that expensive. It's waterproof, so it has like a little, you can't see it on here, but it's kind of like waxy on the inside. Now, I prefer this over those hot dog looking boats because the hot dog ones have like a plaid red and
Mm,
white thing. This is just a little more professional and
classy.
cool. And if you want to add a sticker, you can put it on the side and it'll stick.
Love it. Oh,
So,
yeah, there we go.
anywho,
Yeah,
this
we
is a
could do
three
that.
pound boat. This
Hmm.
is what is called a 3 pound boat.
Okay. Because it apparently could
Okay.
hold 3 pounds without falling apart. Is that why? Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And obviously this, I don't know, I didn't weigh out actually what it
Yeah.
will actually be, but
Right. So in our case, we are
Yeah.
not, but in case somebody does come up and say oh, I'm going home, can you wrap it up? We'll have a ability to either throw it in a pre-made bag. I was thinking about a bag of some sort. Like I use those bread bags at home, which I really love, and they're cheap, but
Yeah.
maybe have some of those handy, or just wrap it up and have some
Yeah, I mean, I was saying
saran.
catering wrap. You're just going to have your big old commercial saran wrap,
Yeah.
plastic wrap, and just wrap, go all the way around,
Yeah.
and
Boom.
wrap it up good.
Yeah, if
And
people
there
want
they
to
go.
take
They're
it,
on their way.
then they can go. That's
Yeah.
fine. All right.
Mhm.
So then the next thing is that because I have been talking to people this week and just working on this whole thing. One of the things, because we were having a little bit of challenge with hooking up Andrew's iPhone this week to the POS, although we fixed it. It was just, our software's fine. We're just trying to learn how iPhones, Androids, and how all this stuff works. That
Mhm.
I said, well, the other option is that they can just scan a QR code when they come up and then go straight to the website. So we're building a website specifically for the charcuterie cart. I can do that because I can build as many websites as I want. There's subdomains of our existing domains. So we're not having to go out and buy new domains. This will be a domain that will be cart dot whatever your website name is, and we've got various options here, but cart.yourwebsite.com or whatever it is. So you create one, or you can have a page on your site that's specific to the charcuterie cart. But
Mhm.
because I plan on actually marketing the cart down here in Phoenix, in the Phoenix metro area, I don't know if Andrew's planning to or not yet. We're still kicking around her ability to do stuff because I have a little more help down here than she has. So this isn't any, when you're doing an event like we're doing, I mean, one of the reasons Andrew hasn't done it to date is because this is a new business basically for
Mhm.
us to be starting a cart, and you can't do this kind of thing 3 days in a row by yourself. So hopefully you get help,
Yeah.
right? But anyway,
Mhm.
that's why this is all for you to go through that journey with us has been kind of fun. We hope we can teach you some things that we learned positively and negatively from the event and just getting everything set up. So anyway, because I have been helping our own self with this and people that are in our grazingbiz.com, our charcuterie launch lab business, just go to grazingbiz.com and learn more about what it is we do. I have been helping others build their sites up. So I know for the people that are on just audio, you're not gonna see this, but I am gonna pull up our site that I'm working on. I only got the home page done, but I wanted to pull it up. And then Andrew, I don't know if you want to go in to ask me some of the questions we discussed
Sure. Sure.
about it. Let me get this up here so I can share it. See, share. But you can go ahead and start, going through it basically.
Okay. So the idea here is to have an easy place for your people, your customers to go to book the event and see what you offer. Of course, those two people are not us.
No,
So,
no.
but
I'll
but
tell you how
Patty
I made
amazingly
this.
did this. Yeah, she did it through AI. So I'll let her explain that. But so the idea here is to kind of give people an idea of what we have and
Right.
how we're doing it. So
Yeah.
you want to, you can see from here. I'm going to let Patty go through the what we have.
Yeah.
So
All right. So yeah, let me just talk a little bit about this. Is a site that is strictly right now. We're going to use it strictly for just the cart. And one of the things that I did was I have invested in the new Google Gemini AI, and I went in there, and this was just the second video I had it record, and I went in there and just gave it a prompt. I think having something in the background is a great idea. So you can see that I basically went in and said, "Hey, I want a charcuterie cart, 2 women that are at an outdoor event." So that's how I started it. And then it came in and I said, "We're selling charcuterie boxes," and it didn't actually put it inside the tray. So I had to go back in a second time and just say, "Oh, please correct it." And these are exactly pretty much what we have bought, and it just did it automatically. And I also said we need women in their 50s and older. I didn't get into our nationalities and stuff like that, but I didn't care because I really just wanted to get the video on here so that it looks like what we're doing. And I loved what happened because I didn't even tell it we're at a wine event. And you can,
Yeah.
and we have a wine event coming up, so this worked out really well to get it going. So I have no problem with this currently. While we don't have any video of us yet, this is a great way to do it. So I would, if I was you, look into the Google Gemini video. This, they give you 8 seconds, and then I took the video and I put it in Canva, and the canvas size for this, which we call a hero section, is 1920 by 1080. So if you go to Canva and you're creating a hero section, that's what this was. And then I actually have an overlay as well. I put a dark overlay on it because it was so bright. This isn't actually the brightness of the entire video was just bright like any other video you would have without any editing to it. So I actually toned it down with a little bit of darkness so that you could see the print on the front. So that was the goal, right? So, you know, when you're talking about when people come to your site, you want it to be as clean as possible, right? You want it to be like, what is going to stand out when people come there? So you want to have a menu at the top where people can get around. Now, I will tell you now, these menus are going nowhere because I literally just started this. Believe it or not, you'll see what I've done here. This is from templates that I pre-built already, but we offer all of this, you guys. So if you want us to build this for you, we can. We offer this service. But your goal is not to be, you know, trying to start from scratch. That's the thing, right? So we have, you know, basically eye-catching and cleanliness that comes into it, right? And so this is, when I talk about menu's different at the top. That's the menu of your website, right? The other thing I think is important that you recognize is that you have to have up at the top above the scroll before, like when people come to your site, whether it's on your mobile phone or it's on your site, you want to make sure that your site is has a call to action that people don't have to scroll down to see. And I see this a lot on websites where we go in and you don't see any call to action like buy now or, you know, review until you get way to the bottom of the site. People are going to give up. They're not going to go down that far, right? So you want to make sure that you have the call to action. So we've got a book cart. They'll end up going to a page that they'll either get a hold of us on. Well, we could talk about that, like, because this is where, from talking to other people, at least when it comes down to the cart, might be different when you're doing you're just selling boards. Most of the people I'm talking to, because they're just fearful of someone coming straight to the site and paying money and scheduling stuff, they seem to be fearful of it. And I don't know how to answer that because I'm not doing it on a daily basis like the rest of you all are. But I think one of the main reasons we set this up was so that you could just take online orders. Now, in a case where people need to schedule the cart, then I think it's important that you do talk to them, obviously. But could they book and reserve the date and put down $100 or something? Sure. I mean, wouldn't it be great to get some money from these people? I mean, right off the bat. What's your thought on that? On the cart?
Yeah, I totally feel like that's the beginning thing. I mean, you want to have people feel confident in what you have, and like you look at this site and immediately, you know, it doesn't look like it's from the 1980s. It's very up to date. It's got, you know, the book your cart thing like every few inches or so.
Right,
It's
in every
clean.
section.
It's
right.
organized, right? It's clean, it's organized, it's, you know, it's clear about, we have the reviews. I mean, everything's on here on that first page. So when you have that with a website, I mean, that's going to give automatic, you know, just making people feel comfortable about whatever it is they may move forward with you.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
Granted, you're going to get a lot of other information there, as you can see on the top with the menu and such, but it looks great. I think it looks fabulous.
Yeah.
And once we get more photos of us actually doing it, it's just going to be that much better because people want to see you. They do. As much as I hate that, and I tell people that all the time. I don't like being in front of the camera, but it's important. You got to be able to.
They gotta connect with you, and I think
they do.
You know, and I think you doing this, just doing this video stuff has been helpful for you. Now, a lot of you might not have your carts ready, so I actually created this generic looking cart that you could use that we've already pre-built. I did it in Canva, but so if you don't have your cart ready, so what? I mean, just put one in there. that something close to it. I basically took one and put generic branding. You can't see this if you're just listening to us, but it's just a cart with generic branding on it with no name or anything like that on it. But it kind of gives an idea of what the cart is. So somebody's coming here who's never seen anything like this before will get a handle on that. And as far as images go, I mean, you can tell in the second section is that we just got a close up of a charcuterie, board where, with a hand in it, putting some food on it. So there's no, and we could use Andrew's hand. She didn't want to use her face, but no, we're using her face. But bottom line is that you don't have to have gone out and taken all these, buy everything and get everything set up and take a picture of it right off the bat. That's unless you have a gig that you make sure that you have your camera with you when you do your first gigs, right? Then you want to get your now in our case, we don't have like the testimonials yet coming in into Google. But I do a whole training on getting your Google My Business set up because it's so important. Once that is set up, then you want to make sure everybody's getting a chance to give you a review. And our system actually allows people to easily send can you do a review for us really quick? And then it will automatically it will update this section on the website. So this is basically a widget that you can put on, which I know you probably don't know what a widget is if you've never done any website building, but it's basically just a block of content that has code on it, and the code will automatically stay updated every time a review comes in. Now, our system will also give you a chance to say, I don't want any reviews on here unless they're at least a 4-star. So if you have a suspicion that you might get somebody who gets crappy with you and ends up saying something bad, you don't run the risk of it showing up on your site, right? But anyway, and then the other thing that's important to know here is that I think you should always try to attempt to collect names from people, even if they're not interested yet. Do you hire you for some reason? Make sure that you have a way to have a mailing list. In this case, I just called this thing "Join Our Cart Club." Join our free discount club and you save when you join our cart club. So it could be that or a mailing list. I really do hate the word mailing list, and the reason I hate it is because it doesn't really tell them what they're getting. And you need to tell them, what's the value? Don't just join my mailing list. What for? Give me a reason. So in this case, I wrote down good things come to those who graze and those who join our cart club. Get event tips, discounts, and early access to our seasonal menus. We promise no spam, just salami. Join today. Thank you, ChatGPT. But I do love spam. I might have. Anyway, I was watching. It's funny because I was watching a video this morning. It was a gal that was doing. I'm just so obsessed with Asian cooking right now. And this gal who's a Korean cook on the Food Network was pulled out her can of spam, and started slicing it up and showing people stuff. And I just thought it was so great. But anyway, so then any kind of FAQs, which would be great because the kind of questions you get all the time, why not just answer them ahead of time so that will solve a lot of problems. Now, what you don't see on here yet is I'm going to have a chat widget on here once we get done, and I'll pull this up again and I will do a video on this and put it on YouTube once it's complete so you can see it. And I don't have anywhere for you to go to see this yet because it's not live, but this is basically what we're doing for the charcuterie cart alone. Now, we do have all the templates and everything made for two different versions of the charcuterie business in general. And we're also rolling out other versions that are going to be for any kind of food business. So you can use this site if you sell something other than charcuterie. So, but the key here is making sure it's clean, and exactly what Andrew said was you don't want someone coming here and thinking you're shifty. And they're going to think that if your site is just not nice. It's kind of like walking up to those people at that event selling the $6 things and it was a mess back there. You're not going to trust them, right? If you see a big old mess when they get to the site or they can't get around. And one of the other things that you have to be very, very aware of is the difference of what it looks like when it's on mobile. So in most cases, in our case, we have the ability to edit them so that they are mobile friendly. I don't have the edited version of this up. Let me see if I can, actually, let me see if I can show it. So the edited version of this,
but I did look at it. Yeah. When Patty first sent it to me several days ago, I just was out and about and I looked at it on my phone. And she said that it had not been edited for mobile yet, but actually, I thought it looked great. I mean, there were a few things that are a little funky, but for the most part, it looked fantastic. And so, you definitely want to double check with, if you're making your own website or we're doing it or someone else is doing it for you, make sure it is mobile friendly, because 90% of people are looking at stuff either on their tablet or with their phone, like instantaneously. I can tell you that as we're at this event, I imagine that, I know that in my case, when I'm at vendor events, my internet, or I'm sorry, my website gets clobbered. People are automatically looking to see who you are, what are you doing, what are you selling, and they're scanning the QR code that I have available. So it's really important that you have your website set up and ready to rock and roll, because that's where all your business is going to come from.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
And that's where we're going to roll into the local SEO and all that stuff. Patty will talk to you about how to get all that set up. And
the search engine optimization and all of that. Because when you get like the Google My Business set up, then people will be able to get to your site, and they'll be able to see what it is that you're offering. And so that's going to be key. And we are going to have the QR codes. In fact, so what happens is, how do you set up a QR code? Well, you come to our software and we'll help you. It's all built in here. You don't have to pay extra for it. Are there third-party softwares? Yeah, but if you add all this stuff up that you need to get this going, the POS service and the website stuff, everything, and just calendaring, because this is all going to roll into a calendar option if we want. Everything is happening all in one spot here. And then when someone signs up, when someone pays, every single person who's going to be at this event is going to end up in our database. Their name, their information will all end up right in our database, so that we can keep them abreast of next events, things are going on. So anybody who buys automatically gets in there. And I think that's the key for you, because the repeat business you're going to get off of like I always say in almost every single one of our podcasts, you're a walking billboard. Once you're out and about doing this, you are literally a walking billboard, which is why, for one, we're getting those t-shirts done too. But people are going to be, you've got a walking billboard for every single person who buys from you. And when they buy, they're walking around with this. And the next person, where did you get that? I mean, if you haven't experienced this, Andrea, I just know from my own experience, because I years ago sold donuts, but also from watching Andrea and her businesses, just people are going to ask, where did you get that? And you want to make sure you've got business cards with a QR code on it, with your website on it, obviously. If you want to give your phone number out, which I talked to somebody this week who said, I don't want anyone to have my phone number. I just want them to contact me through the site. Fabulous. As long as they have a way to reach you and that you are aware, because this is another problem. People are contacting you through Messenger. They're contacting you through Instagram. Maybe you're missing stuff. What are you missing? You're unable to collect emails from people through Instagram and Facebook unless you ask. Wouldn't it be great if you could automate all of that by just saying, yeah, check it out, go over here. You give them a link, or you slap in your QR code, which is basically just an image you can have on your phone available all the time. It's kind of like a business card. And then that QR code basically gets built up in here. Once you get your URL done for your site, you're just putting it into a software that we have that says, create me a QR code out of this. And a QR code, for those of you who don't know, you've probably seen them, but it's just that code that people can scan their phone over, and then when they scan it, take with their picture, their camera, it'll automatically pull a URL up, and that URL is a domain. That's another thing. I use these terms, and I realize some people don't know what I'm talking about. A domain.
I was just going to say, a domain is like your sound.
Yeah, a domain is like
your. To sound like some kind of technical.
Well,
it's a lot. It is a lot. Yeah.
But a domain is your website. If you go to, grazingbiz.com, that's a domain. You buy a domain from GoDaddy. A URL is that. A URL and a domain is basically the same thing. Don't ask what URL stand for, but it's the exact same thing. So you basically just take your website, you put it into the software then creates its own QR code, which is just this goobly gop square thing that has just got a code in it that your phone recognizes, and then it just pulls it up and it can go straight to your payment page. It doesn't even need to go straight to your home page. You could have 10 different QR codes that go to every page on your website. So if you just wanted somebody to go and look at your charcuterie cart page, then you send them to your charcuterie cart page. And you can just have a separate QR code for that. And you have them all available on your phone or on your cards, or in our case, I'm going to put a QR code on our t-shirts. And they will be somewhere, maybe on the back. I'm not quite sure yet. Probably on the back. And all we need to know is that people know where they need to go. You know it's on your back. And you're going to spin around and go, yeah, just scan my QR code on the back. So you could do that. So you have so many ways. And if you're walking around an event like this, which we will be, or if you have family, get them some t-shirts, let them walk around. And you've got a shirt that's going to catch eye of people going, what is that? Why does that shirt say, what did I say that shirt was going to, what was the one that I liked? I can't remember now. But anyway, stand out, you can do it, and it's not that hard. And this software right here, just in case you didn't know, I mean, literally, I can just drag things in. Like I can just go over here and add an element, and it's so easy. And if you decide, oh, you know what, I want to put a picture here, I can just drag in and upload a picture here if I want to put something else here. It's that easy. And we've given you all the templates you need for this, including this one you're going to get. So we'd love to have you in our system because we're going to help you get launched a lot quicker, especially if this is something new. You've got enough to think about. I mean, I can't even imagine, Andrea is going out and start doing this all by herself, how hard this would be to try to get this set up. I'm boring her. She's not even looking at me. Yes, I'm boring her so badly with my
No, I am. I was looking for I'm looking at my QR code.
She's looking down like, I'm falling
people.
asleep with her technology talk. But anyway.
No, I'm trying to find my QR code so people can see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like physically see what it looks like. I know I've got it handy because I just used it.
Yeah, I probably could have pulled one up, but I don't have one for this particular thing yet. But so we have the software built right in here to do this. So you just go, after you get your website up and live, you just go to the QR code creation page and you throw in, I'll just share it because I got it now. I got it up. You just throw in the code. So I'm in the area where your QR codes are down over here, you see, in the software. And you just go create a QR code right here, and you'll simply everything's slow when I get on Zoom.
Yeah, there's one.
Yeah, so you can see what they look like. Yeah, you just go here, and it'll just create it, and you'll be able to just throw in your URL, your website, basically, and it'll just create you a brand new code. So everything's
super cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So anyway, we're going to take you on this journey with us probably over the next few podcasts, because we're only what are we out, a week and a half? Let's see, we'll be there on the 4th.
We're at a week and a half.
Yeah. And I just think it's important that you guys know that there's different ways to do this. And as far as the licensing and all of that, just be really careful that you get a hold of your county and your state and what's required, because your county might be different than what's required down in a different county, right? So make sure that they know if you're going to be at an outdoor event, you know what you need to have. You might have a special permit for that particular event, a special license for that particular event. You're going to obviously need to make sure that you're abiding by all your health regulations and the things, and what else might come up, Andrea? I'm trying to think. Obviously paying fees.
Insurance. You want to make sure you have your insurance set up, so in case you do, for some reason, something happens, you're covered. Again, just check with your health department. The other thing that helped a lot was, in my case, because I live in a smaller town, the organizer of the event was like, this is the person you're going to talk to at the Yavapai County Health Department. And so she actually knew all the information. I already knew it, but she, felt obligated to tell me. So get as much information as you need to have from the organizer. If they're a good organizer, they're going to know who you need to talk to.
And I think in an event like this, it's really important that you understand whether or not you're allowed to create this outside of the location that you're at versus on location. In our case, because our state does allow charcuterie under our cottage law, there are certain things you can do and certain things you can't. When you're at an outdoor event like this, you actually, the cottage law requires you to recreate these things in your own kitchen at home. So the reality is, in our case, because we are going to be at an outdoor event, we're limited on what we can and cannot do at home. We have to do things on site. So you have to know what that is. And you know, and if you, and again, there's requirements on even if you did stuff at home that you were maybe giving to yourself to use. For instance, the bread, does it need to be labeled? Does it need to be packed? I mean, there's so much involved when it comes to that. So make sure you understand what's required. It's usually an easy call straight to your county health department to find out what is required and what you need to do. Although I have heard some of the counties aren't very responsive, and I feel sorry for you on that.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
I don't have that problem. They're very, very helpful all throughout Arizona. We don't have that problem. But if they want to keep you, you know, on the up and up, and you just keep hounding them, if you can't get your answers, you need to get them. I mean, that's all there is to it. Maybe, you know, like I said, talk to your organizer and see if they have a direct line to somebody who they have dealt with in the past. That helps. Yeah, that helps.
Really good idea.
Because those bigger urban areas will have multiple people versus the one or two, like in my little rural area.
Right. Well, we're going to keep you posted on how things are going along the way. And if you guys have any questions, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to hear your comments and and, you know, subscribe, do all those things to help follow us, because we do know that people love what we're talking about because they've been telling us. If we're boring you, then, you know, change the channel. But, you know, I can't help everybody. I've learned that. I learned that a long time ago. You can't save the world. But we can save the people that actually want to be saved. So, and that's us. We got to save ourselves first. We're going to take you along for the ride. So anyway, so outside of that, I mean, you know, if you haven't yet tapped into our free group on Facebook, head over there. We have a free group called Start Your Charcuterie Business. We'd love to have you. You can get our free charcuterie calculator, which we eventually will get our one set up for the cart. We're still working on that one, but you can go to grazingbiz.com/earn-with-cheese. That's how you get our calculator, but it's also in the show notes here, so you should be able to get those wherever you're watching us. Anything else for the good of the cause, my sister?
Oh, I'm sure there is, but we could go on for hours, as you all probably know by now. So we'll just, you know, keep tabs of us, and we'll keep you in the loop of what we're doing. Yeah,
we love the fact that we're doing this with you all, because we're going to be living in all of your struggles too, and then you know, but you know, we should all just learn from each other. So we'd love to hear from you. So join our groups and share your stories, because everybody can learn from each other, and we're not in competition with each other, because there's tons of business out there, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of business. So don't feel like, oh, somebody in my neighborhood's already doing it. Well, they're not going to do it as good as you're going to do it, partly because you're listening to this podcast. All right. Well, sister, love you. We'll talk to you later.
Love you too.
We'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Bye.